So I'm Michele Zaragoza, team leader, Central Valley, KW. I'm lucky enough to have these 5 beautiful people sitting in front of us, since they're standing, sitting in front of us, and we're going to talk about the market and what's been happening and how are you handling it and how are you thriving, because each one of you are thriving in different ways. If we could just start with you and go ahead and start, Ashley, and who are you? And
I'm Ashley Burgess. I'm in the Antigua office. I have been a realtor for about 6.5 years and with KW for 2 months.
For 2 years. And your business has increased how much this last year? You know, Pam? Yes, I did send it to you. Do you remember? I can't remember. That's why I'm asking.
I think it was almost 200%.
200%. Okay. And where do you, we're going to dig right into the questions. Where do you, how did that all happen?
My goal for this year was to seek more referrals and just ask for the business. So a lot of my business is from referral. Another goal was getting at least 1 or 2 pieces of business from my listing. So I picked up a lot of buyers that were buying and selling from my listing.
So I'm going to also backtrack. We actually did a video one day because we coach once a month. And you were really excited to chat with me because you were actually doing some of the activities that we talked about. And it was just as simple as going on command and working it. And you actually got phone calls from them calling you. Is that not?
Yeah, doing, what is it, neighborhood nurture? Automatically get emails.
Right. And then they started calling you, and then you called them back, and you got the business within 30 days.
Yeah. Because
of the system that KW provides, right? And then how did that make you feel though, right? I mean, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Right, just to do it, right, awesome. Shannon.
I'm Shannon, calling from Lodi. It's exciting to sit on the spot like this. Been in this business now for 10 years, and 1 year first was resale, and then now I was in new homes for 9 years, and then now back in resale for 4 years. So it's really not a special secret. I mean, just work. And my goal was to be referral based, and I'm getting a lot of referrals this year. So.
Wonderful. So where do you get your referrals from?
Past clients. Database, past clients, marketing, postcards, and stuff like that.
Thank you so much for being here. Yeah.
That's weird.
I'm Galar. I'm out of the Stockton office. So I've been around since 2008. You know, ironically, when I started in 2008, it felt similar, not the same, but very similar. Back then, there was a lot of uncertainty as well. In 2008, nobody knew where we were heading, nor where we were coming from. So
Right.
I was very lucky though, because I came out of the grocery industry, and literally I have always said, well, just work. I mean, at the end of the day. So I didn't know anything. So I just literally picked up the phone, and at the time I was with a brokerage that they had a REO account, and they had like 20 listings and no flyers on their listings. And I was like, do you mind if I put flyers on it? So I literally just put flyers on there. I got calls and I went to the show. And I remember my first transactions, didn't even know how to write a contract, but I was like, I got them. Can you write the contract? So, you know, in going through that in today's market, it feels almost the same in terms of everything you should be doing. You should be doing the videos. You should be doing the call-in. You should be doing you should be trying everything. So because back then I was actually trying everything. And, you know, I sometimes think, because I just took another training, is, gosh, I wonder how we changed that mindset, because we did learn how to do everything at one point. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, you don't have to do everything. So, so anyway, I've been around 14 years.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's
Love
wonderful.
Love it. So.
Thank you. Taylor.
I'm Taylor. I'm from Tracy office. I've been in the business now for about 6 years. Started on a team, went solo probably after 3 years. Yeah, great.
Nice.
And getting business referral based. I do a lot of like Facebook referrals, just meeting other agents from across the country and staying in all the Facebook groups and active in there, where you get tagged and it's business.
Right. Right. So you have somebody who referrals, social media, database, and database. They're all talking about referrals and database. Lisa.
Hello, everybody. I'm Lisa Aguilera. I got licensed in 2006, but jumped into real estate residential in 2009. I'm kind of grateful that I got into the market that I did, because when other agents were frustrated because they didn't have a ton of business and weren't making, huge commission checks, I was just happy to have a sale and get a little tiny commission check because the prices had dropped so much. So now getting into it to where we are now, it's a whole new learning process again for me. And I feel like I'm going back to basics. I did leave KW for about 4 years and did my own thing. And I was so grateful that I came back when I did. And it has cemented in me what I was missing by not being part of such a large, well-respected franchise or brokerage, because I've gotten referrals, like Taylor was saying, from other agents across the country that I know would not have happened if I wasn't a KW agent.
Thank you so much for pointing that out. I appreciate that. Okay, so tell us, whoever wants to chime in, that's how we'll do it. Tell us about your system and how it's working for you. So what's working right for you right now in this market?
For me, I'm relying more on my sphere. That's where my focus is. The majority of my business does come from my sphere. So I know that I need to capitalize on what I'm doing well. That's taken me since 2009, though, to cultivate that, because I've been involved in the community so much that people just automatically now recognize me after a certain amount of time, and they think of me in real estate. And then the other thing that I'm reevaluating right now, though, is I did rely heavily on Zillows and Redfin and all of those resources. They don't have the leads either. And what I'm
I want to touch on that.
what I'm realizing now, it's the face-to-face contact or the phone call to phone call contact way better than those avenues.
So I too
Talk a little louder.
Okay. I too feel like right now, calling past clients and asking for referral business is super important, and realizing that if something is not working for you, drop it. Like Shannon, I can speak for both of us. We were so heavy in Zillow and it worked for years for us. Easy business. But I quit in June, and I think Shannon just quit this month. And I told her, like, we were just at a point where we were too busy to answer our phone. So we were putting out this money and we weren't converting the leads because we weren't answering our phones. So I told her maybe again, come the beginning of the year, maybe I would consider trying it again, because the leads sometimes are great, but they're not great if you don't answer your phone. So I think really like honing in on what works for you or what doesn't. If something's
doesn't
not
it say
working,
right in the MREA book
yeah,
to do that?
I just quit it. Actually, and in shift.
Shift,
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think really focusing on your sphere and your referrals, because I was all about Zillow, and now, I mean, really putting yourself out there and being in front of people, making your phone calls. I send cards and all of that. That's really helped me a lot. Just my phone's ringing.
Also, your
now.
YouTube, you do a lot of videos, and it's even if it, during the time, if you sold it, even let's just say back in the day, if you sold it that day, you still put that YouTube video out there.
Yeah, when everybody's saying back to the basics, well, that's all I know. Being in residential now for 4 years, that's all I've done. I haven't stopped doing anything different.
Right.
So I just kind of do it. Now I have to even do it more.
So what is that? Because they're asking that, what is that? Because the thing is, they have to get motivated every single morning to get up and do it.
Yes.
What is it that you're doing and what's motivating you to get out there?
So one of the things that I continue to do, about 4 years ago, I decided that if I didn't have a schedule, it wasn't really going to happen. So I literally work Monday through Friday from 9 o'clock till 6.
Oh, okay.
That's what I work.
All right,
And then
cool.
I take lunch
Got in.
too,
Okay,
for
thank
the
you.
most part, 80%
All right.
of the time.
Bye.
What I found right now, and I was just sharing with the group, is that we have more time. So thank God we have more time, because now we can take like career visioning, now we can take bold, now we can take other things to sharpen our tools. You know, I hear this a lot in coaching, that we got to continue to sharpen our tools. I think that what happened in the past 2 years we were so busy that we didn't have time, and yet at the same time, we don't have the same amount of time. So for me, literally having a schedule. So today, perfect example, this was on my schedule. I still end up at the office at 9 o'clock. I still did my things, drove here, gave myself enough time. So I schedule everything accordingly. And I actually don't walk into my house any sooner than 6 o'clock. So I don't. So when I find myself with a little extra time, then I just find a video that I can watch on command. And I just find a video that I learned in the past 3 months how to TC correctly, like by videos. And before I didn't have that time. So I do call my database. So I make my list of who I'm going to call, what I'm going to do. Once I'm done with that though, I don't walk away. I still stay. I still make sure that I continue that schedule. From time to time, I'll get up and go walk around the office, but I literally just walk myself back because I'm like, okay, that was 10 minutes. I got to keep going. So having a schedule, literally.
I love that. And they teach us that in a lot of our classes, right? So yeah, very, very, very important. Who else wants to chime in about their system and how it's working for them?
I think everybody should have a coach.
100%. Everybody should have a
And
coach.
as you say, you don't have the money, put it out there. I'm telling you, your income will double. You should have a
Okay,
coach.
so I had a couple calls already this morning with a few agents. Okay, tell me why. Really dig deep, because sometimes we stand in our own way, right? Even though
Yeah.
we know it's helped us and support us, but it's like, oh my gosh, it's a lot of money though, Shannon.
It's so interesting because at first, when I first had a coach, Teresa, she was on me, and I said, I can't afford this, I can't do it.
How many years have I told you or suggested to you
Yes.
to get one?
And so they will work with you for the first couple of months. They'll
Right.
say, they'll help you to do it part-time,
Right.
And it's life-changing, how can I explain it? I mean,
Well, the money follows.
the money just goes,
Right.
and
But you have to do the
you
activities
have to do that.
that they set out for you.
You do, and it's a mindset. You
Right, it
have
is.
to wake up every day with that positive mindset, but having
You
a
have a
coach.
coach? You have a coach? You have a coach?
Not right now.
Not right, but how many years? You've had coaches, even like two at a time sometimes.
Yeah, I've had coaching probably definitely the majority of my business. I'd say the past couple of years, I haven't had one, and I definitely do see that in my results. And the other thing about coaching that I've realized is there's different coaches that will speak to you at different times. So don't think that you start with one and you're going to end up with the same one. I've changed my coaching throughout. Sometimes I've been focused on my business. Sometimes I've been focused on just my personal development, because I was seeing how not being in balance with my personal self was affecting my business. So there's great coaches out there. MAPS coaching is phenomenal, but there's other coaching out there too that might work for you for your season.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, MAPS
Right.
coaching is amazing, but as long as you have a coach.
Yep.
she's
I agree. Okay. Do you believe that your top lead source will change as we move into more of the shifting market? Who wants to chime in on that?
I actually think it's going to get stronger because we understand our database. So I understand my investors. I understand. So literally, I'm calling people that I sold them houses 5 years ago. And my question is, hey, are you on your forever house? And then usually they go, no, I didn't think about it. I go, because chances are your forever house is on the market now. There's like 30 in your area. So, and people go, oh, and I didn't think about that. So I got 2 listings like that last month.
Okay,
And
wait a minute.
literally,
What a
I was
great
like,
script that was.
yeah, because you're being genuine at the end of the day.
Shannon's gonna write this down real quick. Hang on.
That you're being genuine at the end of the day, because I tell people too, hey, I'm not sure I'm in my forever house, so I'm not sure. Are you? And people go, oh my gosh. And they really want to tell you what their forever house looks
Right.
like. And if you sold that house, you remember what that house looked like.
Right.
You're like, it doesn't have a pool. Where's your pool? So I think that you have to stay connected. You have to stay genuine, and you have to just ask the question. It's like, is that what you want to do? People always want to know what's going on in real estate. And I'm like, just tell them, just be honest with them. If you don't know the stats, then don't quote the stats. If you don't know something, then don't say it. And say, hey, I'll find out for you. So, but literally that's been working for me in that sense.
Yeah, I don't think too, it's a bad idea to call like people who purchase their forever home, because everyone's forever home could change.
Most definitely.
So, I think that is important too, with touching base with those people too. And then if they're like, oh, we're happy, then okay, do you know anyone who is looking or
Right.
whatnot?
What is your favorite script? I know we're going off the questions, but what is your favorite script? If you are starting to call your 20 leads that you got to call today, those 20 database people, what is your favorite script? Is Elizabeth here? Elizabeth has a good one. No, she's not. She's probably on Zoom, but what is it? Do you know? What's a good one that you think, okay, I can just pick up the phone and start calling?
For me right now, it's when is your birthday? I don't have a lot of people's birthday on my database. And I always say, can I send you a card? And especially if it's the wife. Especially if it's the wife. Do you mind if I get your husband's birthday also so I can send him a card? And literally it works, and I do send them a card. And I started this about 6 months ago because I was like, on my whole command, it's only 5% of birthday. I was like, oh, 5%. So I was like, okay, I got to make a point of it. And the conversation comes up. You know, I'm still in real estate. Oh my gosh, really? How you been? Are you still in the same office? Yes, actually, I just moved down. And literally just becomes that conversation. But right now it's, can I get your birthday? Do you mind? Yeah, I love it.
I love it. Thank you so much for
Simple.
sharing. Anybody else, your favorite script?
I think another good one is drawing a blank now. Oh, that's it. It's a bold script.
Yeah.
Just asking like, oh, like telling people, oh, I'm in a competition right now. Do you know anyone who's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? Everyone wants to help someone in a competition.
Right.
So that's always a good one to use if you don't have anything else to
Right.
chat with them about.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Anybody else? Favorite script?
Easy one.
Anyone? So what Elizabeth does is Elizabeth on there on Zoom or Irma? The reason why it's about their warranty, just checking on their warranty.
Oh,
You know,
interesting.
how's your warranty? Do you still have your warranty? And with, not to really start, talk about warranties, but I love my warranty. So that'd be so easy for me to just get on the phone and start calling, right? And it's something that you're talking about or even sharing with them that, oh, you stopped? Well, you can still get one. It's like an added value. So you're constantly doing that. And Elizabeth brought that up to Chrissy and I. I saw Chrissy walk in. I don't know where she is now. Maybe she got a phone call or something, but we were doing it. And I'm like, oh, well, that was easy. Yeah.
That is a good one. Just anything that you can do to
Yeah,
add value.
To add value. Yeah. Okay. Do you foresee yourself working more hours during the shifting market than you currently do right now? Or are you thinking about can't say the word. Change. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Your time. Obviously it's Monday. We've had a long weekend. You're in trouble. So yeah, but yeah. So is it going to change up a little bit? Is your schedule changing?
I think to Miguel's point about having a schedule, I just know that I will be living more by a schedule than I did before, because with the way the market was before, I was constantly reacting.
Reacting.
And so now
Yeah.
it's being more proactive and managing my time and knowing that it's okay to say, you know what, today at 2 o'clock for my appointment doesn't work, but how about tomorrow? Because I know that I need to be consistent and diligent with lead generation time. Just can't get in the way. And then, and then I was just going to add to just thinking about one of your previous questions about is what we're doing now changing. I think not only do we need to really go all in with the things that have been working for us, but we also need to think about where the market's going. And
Yes.
a year or two, I remember there was a class, people wanted people to take short sale classes. I'm like, that's not the market we're in yet. Now I can see in the next year, we're going to see, unfortunately, people who, because of unemployment rates going up, people are going to lose their jobs, can't afford the house that they have now. And so I'm starting to put into my systems to start calling those past dues or people who are in default, because I really do think that that's going to become something in the next year.
I agree. Yeah, I definitely agree. Thank you. Did you want to add to that?
I think for me, more working off the schedule, and I want to just be intentional is kind of what I'm going to focus on this next year. So that way when I'm sorry, I'm not talking to you guys. That way when I am there for my kids or friends, family, work, that I am actually more present in the moment.
So for me, it's I'm glad I have a schedule. So I'm actually not changing. I'm not working anymore. I'm still off at 6. So I will text back, but I won't answer. But one of the things that I now have time to do is usually towards the tail end of my day, I started thinking about the people that I need to send a thank you card to. And it's so funny because last week I sent up 10 of them and 2 people called me and go, that is your actual writing. I was like, oh, all this time somebody else been writing it for me because somebody else was writing the cards for me and I was just signing them. But this time somebody called that and said, that is your actual writing. And I was like,
It's a small little touches that
yeah,
mean
it's
a lot.
it really is a small little touch. And I literally, I will thank people for showing my properties. Like literally, hey, thanks for showing the property. If you have any feedback, let me know. I will thank people who I close with now. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm having a transaction closed with Anna here in Contreras here in Manteca, and she's been amazing. So I don't hesitate to tell her how amazing she is. And she's like, oh, and literally when we come up to a challenge, I just said, all it is a challenge. How are we going to close it though? Because that's our goal. So, and because it's been a handheld kind of transaction, it's been awesome. So I think that for me, schedule.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Question from Zoom land. If the market drops like it did in 2009, how do we expect to pivot? And also, now that we know there might be a recession coming, how do we feel and plan about what to do?
Anybody want to take that?
That's a large question.
Well, the way I see it is everybody around us is going through some sort of an economic problem. Okay, so when people say recession, I literally think of that word. I know a few people that are in the recession now because they can't afford it. But because of that, I know 80% of other people who have plenty of money and are not going through a recession. So I literally go back to bold and go, whatever you focus on is what is going to expand. So if you're focusing on people that are broke, you're going to find more because they're actually together. But if you're focusing on opportunity and leverages, you're probably going to leave that and go to the other side to the investors. So investors have no problem paying a 9% interest rate. They don't have a problem paying even 10% interest rates. They really don't. So if your first time homebuyer has a problem paying 7%, then you know to move quickly to the next one. So then don't try to chase the business. So if anything, stay ahead of it. I think that most of you, I look around the room and I'm like, oh my God, most of you guys are like under 30. How many recessions do you think you're going to see or economics? You're going to see a lot.
And we were doing
I feel old now, Michelle.
Well, me too.
I feel old now.
I know. I think my third, fourth, I don't even know. God. So maybe shift wise. The thing is, people were buying houses when it was 14%. I was doing loans when I was doing loans at 14%. And we weren't scared because people were buying houses. They were buying.
I think that's a good point, is no matter what market you're in, there's always going to be people who need to buy or sell. The people who were in the market a year or two ago and are focused on, well, I'm not getting 3%, I'm not getting 4%, move on. Because you have new people coming in the market right now who are going, I don't care what the percentage rate is. I want to buy a house. I don't want to pay rent anymore. And so it's not only getting our mindset right, it's getting the general public's mindset right. And you decide who you're going to work with and who you're not going to work with.
And you have to decide your own mindset, period. You know, this is your career. So if you are going to buy or sell, you need to be ready to go and not to be allowing the other negative people to feed into your head. You need to surround yourself with positive people continuously. And if they're going to be negative, just ask them to scoot aside. Because guess what? If they're not calling your database, their database, you're going to be calling their database, right? So just scoot them aside. All right, so it's a listing. We want more listings, right? So you're going to list my house, but we're going to wait probably a week to put it on the market. So how are you going to price it? That's the hard part right now, right? Because it's shifting. The interest rates are going up. How are you going to price it?
Well, we're going to price it when you go on the market, because what I tell you today is not going to be the same a week from now or a month from now, but we need to hurry up and get you on the market. And then when I go to my listing appointments, I still pull my sold, pendings, and actives, but I focus way more on my actives and my pendings. Sold will tell you what they were willing to pay or what it was worth 30 days ago. That's not applicable to a market like ours. Pending tells you what price they were willing to make an offer. And then we also look at the days on market column. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to get that price, but at least they were willing to make an offer at that price. And then I show them the list of actives. That's this much bigger than the pendings and the closed. This is your competition. Why are they going to want to see your house versus competition? Let's price to get them to want your house overall, the 10, 15 other ones that there are.
That was a great answer.
So
Thank
we
you.
just took a listing in Weston Ranch in Stockton, one of the probably more, not necessarily desirable because people from the Bay Area love that area. And about the turn of the year, there was 3-4 listings at a time and multiple offers all the time. I saw one of the highest solds for 620 in Weston Ranch. So so I went through the listing appointment over the weekend, 37 actives in this same area. Okay, and then I pulled the same exact house and said, look, they're at 475. That's your competition. Do you
Right.
want to stay on the market or do you want to sell? Well, we want to go. We're going out of town. I said, perfect. Then we're going to drop it $15,000 less and be ready to give seller credit. And
That's
people go,
right.
oh, and I go, oh, and it might not be for what you think before. It used to be for closing costs only. Now we might need to buy down their rate. So you got to be ready for that. And literally the client looked and goes, we're literally giving the house away. And I said, not after you pay $250. Come on, you're not giving it away. So you do have to remind them where they came from. So, and also find out where they're going, because I'm sorry, you're going to Idaho. Do you want to rent it or you want to sell it? Because those are your only two choices. I'm here to help you, so you tell me how you want to do this. So literally we signed, I think at 449. So, and she's ready to give us seller closing costs.
Good, that's awesome.
Well, again, like Lisa said, I don't know what it's gonna do in 2 weeks, but I'm ready to give that closing cost. So every time somebody calls and talks about it, hey, if your client needs anything, just put it in the contract. So I'll present.
Love it.
I think
Thank
on
you.
the pendings and active, it's a lot of relying on other agents too for what is happening with their listing.
We talked about that this weekend. Yeah. So want to go a little bit more detailed about,
Well, like pending, I want to know if it's not in MLS, how many offers, what they're gonna land at. Active, I want to know they're showing activity.
and then also when you're presenting it, right, when you're listing, taking a listing, you're actually calling the people around.
Because they might see that active, well, that one's at 475, why can't I list it that? Well, they have no showings because they're overpriced.
Right, right.
I think it's reminding the client as well, we're still up over 2019. They're just watching that it dropped and thinking they lost all this money. You never really had the money. And
Right.
so the pandemic years are an anomaly, but you're still making money over what we were at pre-pandemic. So it is still great. They just have to shift their thinking and you have to remind them of
And
that.
you have to remind them of that. Right, right. You're the educator. and This is your job. It's not their job.
Now, it also makes a difference over the listing comes from. So in Stockton, I can think of 2 areas that are not going down in price. So one of them is St. Andrews, which is down the street from our office. I know an agent just listed a house for $759 and had multiple offers on it. So again, you listed correctly. Even my client wanted it and lost out on it. There was another one in Asserton that was listed for $974 and sold in 8 days, cash. So the world isn't that bad for everyone. It's why, again, are we going through a recession? Well, you might be going through a recession. The rest of us might not. I don't know.
Can you
So
explain them, Miguel, why do you have this mindset and what fuels it?
mainly because I've been on so long.
What was that? What was
Because I've been around 14 years in this. In fact, I was just sharing with Shannon that I was 36 years old when I walked into this business, and I was like, and I'm like, just recently I was like, how come I'm not like that anymore? So it literally kind of sparked a little bit on me, like, wait, I knew how to do it. What changed? And I took some training not long ago with Shelby, and we talked about that, how when we were kids, and you can learn a lot from kids because they don't have any fears. Yet we turn 30, all of a sudden we have all these fears. And it's like, what happened? Because I think at the end of the day, it's all mindset and it's all attitude. So a lot of times when people address me with, oh my God, what are you going to do in this market? And I said, I don't know, talk to me about your situation. I'll tell you what to do. When it comes down to real estate. Yeah, absolutely. So
Okay,
a lot of
anybody
it-
else? I love that. Mindset.
It's all about mindset.
Okay, so talk to me about that.
So what?
Because I'm having a hard day. I had to get up and I had a hard day. So how are you gonna talk me out of this mode, right?
So perception is projection. So what you feel on the inside is what you're going to project on the outside. So if you feel that we're in a shifting market and we're in a recession, that's what's going to be drawn to you. So you want to make sure that you are solid and congruent within yourself, and you wake up every day and have a schedule and push. You have to pay the bills, right? I mean, I know I do.
Right.
Yeah.
That was huge. Did
So-
you guys hear that? Okay, can you say that one more time but louder, please?
Okay, so you have to be congruent within yourself. You have to, perception is projection. So what you're feeling on the inside, you're going to project on the outside, and that's what you're going to bring to you. So if you feel that you're in a shifting market, then you're going to be in a shifting market. If you feel that we're in a recession, then that's what's going to happen. So you have to wake up every day, change your mindset, be positive, get a coach, and move forward.
Love it. Thank you. Anybody else want to chime in on that?
I recently have been going through kind of a tough time in my personal life, just family things and stuff going on. And I realize, especially in a market like this, I need to get recentered and right with myself, because if I'm not, then my business is going to be affected. So I'm going back to what I used to do before, miracle morning. I'm making it purposeful that I'm at church every week as I'm feeling my spiritual part of me. I've started working out again. And so if I walk a little funny, it's because I'm so sore because I had it wasn't working out. But it's those I think it's 7 aspects of your life that KW goes through with one of their models. And you evaluate yourself. Where are you spiritually, physically, financially, and all those things, and figure out, okay, where do I need to focus myself? Because how I am in all these other places spills into my business. And I really do feel 100% that there's going to be a lot of agents who aren't in our business 6 months from now because they couldn't get the right mindset. And it's not just getting up and thinking, okay, I'm going to be positive today. It's what am I doing to make myself positive? There's a great little book that my friend Zana sent me. That's a 5-minute gratitude journal in the morning. It's a yellow book. I'll get the name and send it to you. But literally it takes me 5 minutes, and it's amazing what it does for what I think about in the morning and what I'm putting in my subconscious at night when I go to sleep.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. I like that. Anybody else? Mindset.
I think you always say it, what you focus on expands. This is like my hardest personal year. But business life, it's been my best. And I think it's just because I'm not dwelling on what's happening in my personal life and thinking that everything happens for a reason. So
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, it wasn't my whole life. I think we discussed that too. Over the weekend. Somebody was saying, oh my gosh, you came up with something the other day. And I'm like, what? And it was a bold law. I'm like, I can't take that. But yeah, thank you. Okay, so what else would you like to share that we haven't asked about?
Question from Adam. Do you work price reductions into the listing terms, or do you adjust them every few weeks?
I haven't been doing it, but I think that is
Good
key.
idea.
You need to do it from the very beginning, because so many sellers right now have that wish price. And just say, okay, well, great, we're going to do it your way right now, but 2 weeks, here's the document, sign it right now. If it's not sold, we're going to reduce.
That's a bold.
I think
That's bold.
it's sometimes
Yeah.
even like sooner than 2 weeks right now.
Yeah.
Like if you're not having any showings and then you do open houses over the weekend and there's no one through, or there's one person through, why wait? It's just changing more drastically, and then interest rates are going up and there's smaller buyer pool out there. So
Right.
I think 2 weeks was like normal a year or 2 ago. Well, it's hard to say, like no one sat on the market. But now like I'm telling my sellers 7 days, like, let's revisit this. Yeah, this is what the data says that we should list at, but after 7 days, if nothing, like, let's just do it.
But you get to sign right then and there at the listing, like Lisa was saying.
No, but I mean, I think that's a good idea.
Right, so moving
Yeah,
forward,
just-
getting that done.
Not-
Yeah. Is there any other questions on Zoom line?
Not as of right now, but to that
Okay.
end, well, actually, here it goes. With all the training that KW provides, how do you determine the balance?
Taylor, I got
With all the training that KW provides, how do you determine the balance? How do you fit it all into the schedule? Anybody want to take that one?
My goodness, that's actually, I think it's pretty easy because it depends on your experience. And it also depends on your goals. So if you want to be the best buyer's agent, you should be taking a lot of buyer classes. If you want to be the best listing agent, you should be taking a lot of listing agent classes. So for me, it's always been easy. Like, I look forward to career visioning because I run a team. I want to make sure that it stays within alignment.
How many times have you taken it?
I have taken it 3 times and 7 times bold. As I tell people, I know I'm a slow learner, but actually in reality, every time I go, I picked up something different. And you literally have to take these trainings knowing that you're
What
only
was
going
the
to come
class
up with.
before career visioning?
At RSTL.
RSTLN, did you take that as well?
I took that as well.
Yes.
So you always have to, you take 1 or 2 tools. You only, don't take 10.
And we don't know it all. We think we know it all, but we
I
don't
think it
know
was
it
a-
all.
I think it was in our last gold class, so I think it's important to like pick and choose or like have a number of classes that you say, okay, I'm gonna take 2 classes a week. Here's the classes. These are the ones that I think would benefit me most. Don't be an agent who sits in the office all day just going to every single class. Like, do the business to get yourself business.
Right.
Like, I'm pretty sure it was in the last poll that they said, like, don't be that agent that just
Right.
is constantly like in.
Your shelf is really, really smart, right?
Yeah.
But if you're not using the tools,
Yeah.
why
like,
even go?
pick the ones that are going to benefit you the most and then go to those ones.
Right.
The only thing I do have to also say about classes, because I watch agents and I take classes, I watch them leave in the middle or text in the back,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh my God, you should just stay at your office.
Me with
Stay
my
in your
phone right
office.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not going to be present, don't waste your time. Because here's the thing, you're the one who wanted to learn, yet you're also the one replying to the text or taking the phone calls.
Right.
And I'm sorry, but none of us are that important. The client will actually wait, and chances are if you don't answer the client when they're on fire, 2 hours later, they're actually not on fire. And they
Yes.
figured it out. And then you become I'm just checking in with you because I noticed that you called.
Yeah.
I heard in a class,
So be present, be present.
someone once said to me, how you show up here is how you show up everywhere. And that
Mm-hmm.
sticks with me. And I remind myself that because I am that person, oh, I'm just gonna check this text or I'm gonna go make the phone call. No, is that what I'm doing in my everyday life? Is I'm never really present.
Mhm.
So it's a good gut check. And then you asked the question, is there something we didn't talk about?
Right.
I just went to business planning last week, so it was
Yes.
very current in my mind.
Yes.
It's so important to have a plan. Otherwise, you're never going to get where you're going. And I feel very fortunate the past 2 years, I wasn't as diligent about business planning. And it worked for me, but I know it's not going to work for me from here on out because of the market that we're in. So super excited to go to business planning. I took the nuggets that I needed from that one, and you can't take it all. But if you leave a class and apply 1 or 2 things, you're going to be that much more successful. You tried it. I heard a stat today. If you take 1 thing and implement it and do it well, you're going to be 80% chance of being successful with it. By taking 2 things, now you drop down to 30%. And by the 3rd thing, you're down to 4%. So what's the point of even going to the class? And then it also reminded me, Ben Kinney did a great class on goal setting. It's called a 1355, which I can share that with anyone who wants it, but it really will help you get crystal clear on, this is my 1 thing. And then there's 3 things that can support that. And then 5 things support those 3 things. And if you implement it, there's no way you can't be successful.
Thank you. I want to just take a moment and just point this out. How long have you been in business, Lisa?
Since 2009.
And she went to a business planning clinic. Do you think, sometimes people would be thinking, oh, you know how to run a business.
I
You
do,
were
but
the
I
number
don't.
1 agent, right? I mean, you were number 1 in Tracy for many, many years. And you went to a class to brush up on it. And you own your own business. We don't know what we don't know is the point, right? And you are who you surround yourself with. You guys, going to a class like that is going to lift your ceiling, push it even further and further. And there was 2 in the region. I don't even know if we have any more coming up. So it's you need to take advantage of the classes that we're posting out there. There was a comment made that we have too many classes, but guess what? If you're not taking them, does it even matter what we put out there?
I don't think you can.
That
have-
wasn't you.
No, that wasn't my my thought process of it. Sorry.
No,
I don't think you can have too many because then at least you have choices.
Right, and that's what the point is. We have to, as a calendar, we have to have a choice for you. We have to have a choice for the newer agent and the middle agent, right? And it's up to you as an individual to pick and choose what you need to take. Okay,
Sorry.
so what was that?
I said sorry.
Gosh, no, stop it. Okay, so is there anything, because I do have one question that I do want to ask, but is there anything that wasn't on the list or that we chimed in about that you would like to share about your business, about your career, anything? Actually, now I have to.
I just like to say what Lisa said, you should always be growing. So always take classes for personal growth and development, training, whatever, coaching. So you should continue, even if you've been in the business for 50 years, you're going to learn something new and you should always be growing daily.
I love it. Anything on your list right there, Dal?
I think like just stay in front of your clients, because if you're not talking to them, someone else is. Yeah, and
That's a good
I
one.
use pop buys a lot to kind of do that as a way to stay in touch. And then a lot of times when I drop stuff off, then they call me, so it makes it easier.
If I was a new agent, what would you tell me?
I know what I did as a brand new agent. I went to every possible class I could.
Mhm.
That, and I came into the office and made sure that I was there for like the time that my kids were in school, I was in the office.
I think doing open houses every single weekend.
Yeah.
Every single weekend. And like now I'm going back to that.
Right.
Like
You're
even if
going back to
one
your basic?
person, yeah, even if one person comes in, that's one person that you got to meet and love on, and now you have a potential client.
Right. Even if you're right, even if it's just one person, that one person wants to buy.
Yeah.
You know, actually now I have two. Okay, so that was one, so I have one more.
Danny has a question,
Okay, Danny, go ahead.
but I might not have an answer.
No. Well, back to your listing, because I do agree that it's no longer a 2-week market for price correction, it's more of a one. So on an average, would you say that you're correcting it 10 to 15% to actually get the activity?
I think it depends on the house, the area, but I think it depends on the house and the area.
Shannon, you were gonna say something?
No, I said just, it depends on the location.
Yeah. And how realistic the seller was in the beginning versus
Yeah.
now. I tell my clients listing price is so subjective. It means zero, other than how many people do you want to come see your house?
But I do think that an average is about a 10%. It's about 10% that you have to, you gotta go drastic. You gotta show that you wanna sell. Like, look, we took $50,000 out, come on.
What's number 10? Awesome. Okay, KW, okay, go ahead, Arthur.
Miguel, I hear about a lot of agents coming out of your team and becoming successful. What are 3 things you constantly stress to them for success?
That's funny. Standing left over there. One of the biggest things is you got to love the business. You gotta love it, because there's gonna be good times and bad times. And even as a rainmaker, I always tell people, you got to be supportive. You have to support your team. So yes, it would be ideal that you keep all the aces with you. Yes, it would be ideal. But is it ideal for them? And then at one point is, the reason you started a team is because you wanted to help people. So when they are ready to go, you should be the most supportive one. So, and I think that in itself will always keep going, because when you come from abundance, it will always be like that. You become great friends. So I know when I see Danny, I get all excited. And when my family
Who doesn't get
when my
excited?
family sees Danny, they get all excited. When we run into Patty, we get all excited, you know? And those are people that, quite frankly, have done awesome, you know? At the end of the day, always support them. And you know what? We said we wanted to support the other person. Be genuine about it, because someday you'll be whole to it.
Anything else on there? Anybody else want to comment to that? About teams and anything about that?
They said that's wisdom.
Aw. KW Luxury. So KW Luxury was talking about customer service, right? And pushing, you know, are you a 1-star or 5-star? What is the difference, you think, from a 1-star agent to a 5-star agent?
Communication.
Communication's key,
Knowledge.
knowledge,
Listening,
listening.
really listening to their needs.
Yeah, it's making your client feel like you really care versus it's just a transaction.
Right, that's what I was focusing on when we were in Lodi a couple weeks ago. My luxury for me, Michelle, could be $200,000. And I want to be treated as if I was $1 million purchaser. Because guess what? I want to know 10 other people want to buy. And I want to be able to refer it. So if you treat me with luxury or as luxury, I'm going to refer you business. So you want to make sure you treat me that way. So Caroline Woe had a really, really good example. Being in Nordstrom's, I don't know if you guys all shop Nordstrom's. So I walk over to the cash register. I'm like, "Gosh, where's the restroom?" You know, like, oh, it's over there.
Yeah.
Is that 1 star or 5 star?
1 star.
That's
Or
half a
even,
star.
right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, right?
It's like,
Or you're like,
you're
oh, it's just right around the corner. It's just right around the corner. Is that 1 star?
Mhm.
2? Yeah. But if you walk with me
Mhm.
and say, oh my gosh, it's over here. It's a hashtag day. Where are you guys shopping? What are you looking for? Would you actually show me where it is? Is that a 1 star or 5 star? 5 star. So it's like, you want to make sure you're taking that extra step, that extra care. Because obviously you guys all care, right? You guys all care. And you want that extra bit. Why wouldn't you? Okay, so that's just something that popped into my head because that was an amazing class that she is actually teaching again. I say November something. I'll have to find that out, but it's a really, really good class. It's on customer service basically, and it's at a luxury standard. Okay, KW culture. Why KW? Why did you come back, Lisa?
Because of that sign right there, God Family Business.
Love it.
I needed the balance.
Love it. And let's be honest, you didn't stand in your own way. You know, you wanted the balance. Sometimes people can stand in their own way, right? They might feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not getting this, or I had a bad conversation here. But guess what? That's everywhere. And we need to take responsibility on both sides, right? Miguel, KW.
I left and came back, just so you know, because the grass always looks greener on the other side. I mean, I got offered on 95.5 and I was like, oh man, that's awesome.
And I was like,
and
okay.
literally, and you know, at that time I went back to the brokers that I originally started with, happened to know the owners, and literally said, okay, I'll spend a year with you guys. And I literally do what I say. If I say I'm going to stay here for a year, I'm going to stay for a year. So it literally came down to a year. I'm like, I'm gonna check it out because literally I paid you more than I would have. So I did my numbers, and obviously I'm a numbers guy. I love numbers. The other thing is the supportive of a team. So every broker says that they support teams, and most of them do, except that they don't really support teams. So I have built a pretty successful team and done pretty well with it. And a lot of it has been through the support of KW. So obviously I've done through international mega camp, family reunion, you name it, I've been there. I love it every time I go. So when I do go, I'm intentional about going. And for me, I just like where I'm at, and I like what he provides. So.
Thank you so much. Shannon, talk to me.
Support. I came back for the support. And I could pick up the phone and call you anytime. I could call you and without the systems. I didn't have any systems when I left. I didn't have anything. I felt so lost. Like I doubled my business when I came back. And that was because of the culture. I could call anybody.
We had a need-to-need conversation. And we're like, are we ready to do this? Right? And you're like, I think I am now. You know, and it was perfect timing. And everything does have to line up, right? So sometimes it's kind of not balanced in the beginning, but at that moment it was lining up again. So it was perfect. And I'm so grateful that you came back. So thank you. What's keeping you here, sister?
The support, we're not in competition with each other. I feel like we all do a good job of encouraging each other. I would say for newer agents, since I had a couple years before I came over here, that you maybe don't realize the support that you actually do have. The training, my TC was who helped me write my very first offer. So you have a lot more tools than other brokerages.
Right. And okay, on that point, actually, I believe there was a question here on early this morning. So let me just take a look at it really, really quick. I promised this person I would ask. So I've gotten like 20. Okay, hang on. Okay, yeah, pretty much new agents here at KW. If I started here or if I started over here, what do you think the difference is, basically? And pretty much you guys have seen it all. You've seen it. You were new, all of it. The support. Yeah, but you know what? Gosh darn it. She didn't call me back. Now I didn't get that support I wanted. I'm going to leave.
know,
I think you can pull from anyone on the ALC
Yeah.
team or any other agent that is experienced and they'll answer.
Because that's KW,
Yeah.
KW culture, agents helping agents. It's not just a leadership team. It's not just the PC team. It's not just the mega agent. You might be busy. You might be on a listing and your buyer's agent might need a little bit of help. You're trying to tell me they don't feel comfortable knocking on somebody else's door. I know in that little circle in Tracy, there's like, everybody's helping each other. It's the best thing in the world to see.
It really is about the culture. It's, I never get this right, but it's the Y for TC2.
Where's Patty when I need her?
I can never remember, I can tell you what it says, but I can never do the acronym.
Yeah,
But really, that's,
I still can't.
really, that's what it comes down. Is it? Oh, yeah, it is.
I4C2TS.
Yes.
Oh, there. See, I should have read
Yeah.
that. But I mean,
Yeah.
really, that is what
Yeah.
it comes down to, and it works within our office. It also works within our communities.
Yes.
I just haven't experienced other brokerages that have the same culture throughout everything.
Thank you. That's very smart. Now I saved Taylor for last, because Taylor, you were a baby when you started with us, right? And
I still am.
you still are. You still are.
we got over.
We're Stephanie Mendez. I still call her the little one. Yeah. Okay. So you have an opportunity to be someplace else. We all know it, and when your dad left, that, I had to get my heart checked because I was like, oh my gosh, you broke my heart.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm grateful. I mean, one day we all know he's going to be back because this is his family. They always come back. The good ones always come back. I'm looking at you back there, but that's okay. We're all looking at you. The good ones always come back. No, nobody can tell them to come back.
I do.
We're talking to you.
Yeah.
Put you on the spot.
I was like, oh my gosh, this is a flashback. Like, is he here?
Yeah. But okay, so you do have a choice, and thank you for staying with KW. But why do you stay with KW?
Because it's like, it is family. I don't live anywhere close to my office. My office is in Tracy. I live in Houston, Turlock area. I do have the opportunity to go to other offices, but I think that I am a creature of habit for sure. Change scares me, but Chris Thompson is a big reason why I stay. She's always been so supportive of every time I have any type of problem or issue. She's there to help walk me through it. But
Super responsive.
Michelle too, I never give Michelle enough credit. I just feel like you could pick up the phone and call anyone at any time if there's an issue or a problem or anything.
You might not like what we have to say.
No, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I get real mad.
She was really mad at me. I remember I was in Murphy's.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm like, I'll call you back in 10 minutes. You have 15 minutes to cry and that's it.
Yeah.
Remember? And you're like, oh my God.
Yeah. But I think it just is about like having the support. That's huge to me, even though like I sometimes meet clients at Starbucks or wherever is the closest coffee shop that we can meet at. But someday we will have a Turlock office, you guys.
We will someday. Anybody want to ask any questions out here?
I got a question regarding Dan, yes, know me, but you guys were talking about investing on coaches, and I noticed as I'm a mortgage lender, but I work with agents, and sometimes we talk about investing on their business, how important it is, because I normally hear they struggle on. Shannon has been a great focus point that I always tell people is like, look, you can create videos, invest on a nice video. I don't have the money, or I don't want to spend that money. How buys, open houses. I would like to do open houses, but I don't have open house signs. How important it is to invest on that level of your business as well.
Was it directed at someone specifically?
No, all of you guys.
So wait, what exactly is the question? Is how is
Just investing, not just necessarily in coaching, but investing in your
other
business as
stuff.
well.
So in the MREA book, there's actually a page, I'm looking at Ralph because he's got a photographic memory. Do you know what page that is? I think it's like 136 maybe.
The economic model.
Yeah, well, it actually gives you percentages.
Yeah.
Larry Underhill knows this
Budget
page like
model.
the back of his hand. It's amazing. But it does break it down for you. It's pretty key.
So I think he's asking the panel, like how important it is to them to reinvest into their business versus saying no, like to go, no, I'm not gonna do
Is that what-
coaching or
yeah,
something
okay.
like that.
There you go.
Or
So
I'm
that's
not
what I
gonna buy signs. I'm gonna rent them from the office, but the office doesn't always have them. So we have agents running around to different offices, getting signs or borrowing them from other agents. I guess the question is, if I'm
Yeah,
wrong,
they
how
also
you guys feel
invest
about
in your
reinvesting
business.
in yourself like that?
So I guess when I run into people like that, right? Because they always say it's so expensive or it's so this or so that. First of all, it rings to me right away that you're talking about your economics, right? So I already know. So for the most part, I'll start suggesting things that are free, like videos, posting, being present online, and those kind of stuff. You might have to do the legwork, but it's not, they don't charge you for it. Now, if you want to invest a little bit more like on Google, then you're going to have to invest more money on it. So, and I always say that if you close a deal, you should be putting back into your business about 33%. So take the percentage. If right now 33% is $100, then it's $100. Put it back. You know, we all have to put back something. You know, and we didn't create it to be big if we didn't invest in it. So I always tell people, I'm sorry, but you want other people to invest in you, yet you're not willing to invest in yourself. I'm not sure how that's going to work for you. So sometimes I'm not the right person to ask because I will kind of just, but I also say, it's like, look, there's a lot of free stuff that you can do. The other day, I refer one to Arthur and I said, oh my gosh, Arthur's here 4 hours a day at our office. Why don't you make an appointment and come in with him? He's there. I mean, that's free for you now.
I love your question, Dan, because I think, as Miguel said, it gets to the mindset of the person asking it. We can have results or we can make excuses. You can't have both. So if someone comes to me and says, well, I can't do open house because I don't have signs. There's signs in the office. There's a whole back room full of them in Tracy. You can do open houses. Well, I don't have money to invest in Zillow. Great. Well, are you paying for your cell phone? You can start making phone calls. I mean, there's so much we can do. And so to me, it comes back to what is our mindset? Am I going to make excuses why I can't do stuff? Or as Miguel said, there's a zillion things that we can do that don't cost any money. It really is, how bad do you want something? So I do think it's important, like you said, to reinvest back in ourselves. And I at the business planning clinic, they said our cost of sales were like 30%, something like that. But that doesn't mean that I have to do that from day one. It means that as I scale, then I scale my business. If I'm content with where I'm at with just doing the free stuff, then great. But if I want to build a big mega team like Miguel has, well, then yeah, it's going to cost you some money. But we can all do whatever we want to do to achieve the results that we have. It's just a matter of what we're willing to commit to it.
I think it all boils down to your why too. Why are we doing this? Why? We got into this in our ALC meeting and it was hard for some people to talk about it because it really dug deep. And people were in tears in our ALC meeting because it's like, this is the reason why, and I have to do this. I have to close 5 deals a month in order to feed my why. And so it's a cost of doing business. Anything else? Please, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, Luis Medina.
Thank you.
I'm a real estate agent. I started last year, so when I started, it was fairly good market. My wife surrendered, so I mean, it kind of works out. You know, she kind of taught me a lot. We had a lot of clients coming to us, like to sell, to buy. Now with the market shifting, you know, a lot of people are reverting back to one market. But what would you say, like, today's market? Because a lot of people are always like, oh, the interest rates are high. Oh, I want to sell, I want to buy. But how do you break the ice to something like that? You know, being realistic, but not like scaring them. Like, are you saying not to buy? Are you saying not to sell? Like, how would you kind of start that conversation?
I think that for the most part, you got to know their motivation. So if, like, give you an example, if somebody's getting divorced, they're getting rid of the house. No doubt. And they're going to hire a real estate agent. So if somebody's going out of, somebody's moving across country, they got to sell the house. So more than ever, you have to know their motivation. If you don't find them to be very motivated and they say they just want to test the market and you still want to take the listing, then be ready because you're probably going to be in the market for a long time.
Probably not.
Yeah. Well, and that's what you need to tell them as well. You just say, look, if all you want to do is test the market, then we're going to be here for a long time. I'm just not comfortable putting my sign in front of it where everybody sees it for 6 months that says that I never sold it.
Yeah.
I
So-
mean, that was key right there.
So it's like,
Did you hear that? So he's not showing a house, he's selling a house. He's not showing the house, keeping the house listed just for looks, right? He's not wasting his time. The time is the most valuable thing we have. He's gonna sell the house or he's gonna fire the seller, one or the other.
and you can let them down gently. I mean, you can literally just say, look, at the end of the day, I know you're not ready to move because all your actions show you're not ready. I know you keep telling me you'll sell it for the right price. Yeah, your right price is not coming along today.
Anytime I tell them, I don't think I'm the right agent for you, I suddenly become the right
Yeah,
agent for
me
them.
too.
Because
Yeah.
then they're convincing me. And I think the other thing too, to your point, is this market isn't the right time for everybody. It's always a good market. Nothing's inherently good or bad. It's what we put on it. So I always tell myself, it's a good market. It just might not be the right time for someone. I've told people, you know what, based on what you're telling me, I don't think you should sell your house right now, and here's why. And they're like, okay, but when we're ready to, we're gonna call you because you were honest with us. You weren't trying to put a sign in my yard.
To that point, I just listed one that I met with her 4 years ago. They were going through a divorce and we ran numbers and I said, honestly, you're better off keeping the house, buying him out and staying here because it had 2 houses on it. Now she wants to move out of state, so I got the listing.
At what price?
825, which I think we're high,
Yeah.
but we will revisit price.
So honestly, that's what I heard, honestly. Anything else, you guys? Was this helpful?
Yes.
All right, we are going to invite Snap NHDF because she does have some lunch for us. So we're gonna give her a little 5 minutes. I'm gonna keep you guys up here, if you don't mind.
Elisa, will you please come up with me? So I love this panel. I love all what you're saying. I've been with 3 different companies since I started in the real estate industry. I was with one for 28 years. And I got tired, unfortunately, of displacing people after 2007. So I went to work after that 28 years in the natural hazard disclosure world. And I was in management at the time, grew that company very greatly, I should say, and we got bought by CoreLogic. And then CoreLogic just decided that they didn't need salespeople anymore. And so 3 years ago, I went to work for Snap Natural Hazard Disclosure Reports as a salesperson directly to customers. And I'm proud to say that I opened Northern California up because I followed the back to basics that I taught salespeople year after year after year for that 30 some odd years. So it really is back to basics. I'm really proud that last year, this old dog was #1. And for those of you who haven't used natural hazard disclosures with Snap and HD, I really encourage you. Elisa has Stockton and Lodi. I have the rest of part of the Central Valley. And I also work in the Bay Area as well. How many of you guys might use Autumn as your transaction coordinator? Anybody in here?
I have.
Great. Okay. Well, Autumn uses me quite a bit. And so I know she's a great mentor as well on that. And she promotes me as well. So she convinces all of her agents when they come on board with her to use Snap NHD because of how efficient we are. We turn around in minutes. We are part of CAR's drop-down menu, which means that we have errors and omissions insurance that we have to provide them every single year. And we pride ourselves actually being user-friendly. So unlike some other companies that use one standard template for the entire state, which gives you 80 to 85 pages, we filter ours out for the specific APN. So most of your reports are going to be somewhere between 25 to 35 pages, whether you buy the premium, which is including the environmental or the NHD and the CATS information for you. So I encourage you, please, to stop back in the lunchroom when you're done here and grab that pizza, the salad, the Halloween cupcakes. And I would please ask you to consider using Snap NHD on your next transaction. Page 3, item 1, click on the drop down, put us right into your template.
Love it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you so much, you guys.
You guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to share your knowledge with all of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
I learned a lot, thanks, guys.
Yeah, huh? A lot of takeaways, good ones.
So do you want your chair? We have that camera.